What's going on, everybody, man? Your boy Hoop Jogging back with another video. And before, we get into the content, y'all know how to get right, man. Y'all hit that like button. We got a special show. And I know this is not a time slot I normally do. And I'm going to bring up my boy, man, my ace since forever, my guy Between the Game Sports. We're going to talk about hold on. Let me get right, because I haven't done a stream in a minute. Well, you know what? My theme music, it may give me a copyright, not a strike, but a notification. But you know what? I'm gonna do it anyway. Let me do it anyway. Let me set the mood right, man. And appreciate y'all, man, tuning in on this Thursday afternoon. Out here in California, it's 6:50. The part in the world where you are, it's probably gonna be a few or more hours on top of that. But I'm gonna try this again. It's gonna be an experiment, and we'll see how it rolls. But thank y'all for being a part of this. Without further ado, let me bring my guy Between the Game Sports. Will, what's up, man?
Yo, what's the word, man? We in here, man. Let's get to it.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. And so I wanted to talk about this subject matter. And y'all hit the like button, man. You know, I know it's gonna be a slow roll. I know this is something that I don't normally do on this channel. But we're gonna talk about Bryce Griggs, man. I think that his story is very compelling. And in a lot of ways, it's a cautionary tale to a lot of people who are in the AAU game and the NIL game and everything in between. So, but speaking between, man, Will, how you feeling, man? Talk to people.
Man, I'm good, man. Just trying to get through this month of January. I'm like, shit, now it's not even January no more. That's how I'm out of touch, man. It's February, man. We're going through this storm out here in Dallas, this ice storm. The days are running together. I forgot today was Thursday, so it is what it is, man. So,
and listen, I think these kind of stories are it's important to talk about these because, in the whole spectrum, the world has changed in the sense of the traditional route of going to high school, going to college, going to NBA. If you have that, type of skill set, it's kind of been disrupted by third party, things. And I know people don't like this, and I don't give a shit if you don't. LeVar Ball with the JBA opened that whole new parameter up that after high school, there's an alternative. And it's likened to like what you see overseas where like guys like Luka Doncic has been professional since 14. So it's kind of just equal the game out. Now, are there a lot of, benefits to it? LaMelo Ball has shown that, absolutely. But there's some casualties as well. So I think that Mr. Griggs, I don't want to, put nothing on him that's, finite, but it seems it may be that way because he chose an alternative path. But with that being said, let's set the backdrop properly. Y'all hit the like button. Man, we're going to walk this down real slow. So Will, I know you're more the expert in this capacity, talking about, what Bryce has gone through as a baller. So let's take us through what created what he is today. Like, well, let me start this way. So for those who don't know, the listening audience, I'm sorry my notifications going off. It's my heart. Bryce Griggs was at one point like the best middle schooler in America. Mm-hmm. This kid was a 5-star kid. If you look him up right now, he has 0 stars ranking. So we want to kind of walk down what took a kid like that, a 6'2", facilitating kind of sort of point guard, to basically nothing. So let's walk it down slow. So from your vantage point, Will, let's start with his genesis, man. Like, what have you seen from this kid, and then we'll go into where he currently is.
From what I remember, man, like Bryce is a kid out of Houston. He was in the Fort Bend area, which is technically Houston. Some people claim it to be, some people claim it don't. But he was the best kid, like since the beginning almost. 8th grade, he could probably play on the varsity level. In the 8th grade, he was just that good. 9th grade was playing varsity, dominated his district. 10th grade year was the year of COVID, I believe. And he was the best prospect in that class, which is, what is this, the 2023 class? Yes, he was the best prospect out of Texas in that 2023 class. They go to state. First time they had been to state since 2002, I want to say, since our senior year in high school. And team was really, really good. They had a chance to win state. They were going to play Duncanville, somebody else in that state tournament. But, COVID happened.
Duncanville was damn good.
Yeah.
It's still good. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they was going to beat Duncanville because Duncanville was just that good, man. But he was just the number one prospect. That team didn't get to where they wanted to after that. He decided something happened, and don't quote me on this, folks. Something happened between him, the coach, and his brother. If I remember correctly, Bryce Griggs' dad passed away. If I remember correctly. His dad passed away, and I believe his brother became like his guardian. Something happened in between that time where his brother was not liking what Coach Stephen Woods was doing. And Stephen Woods is a hell of a coach. Hell of a coach. He's still at Hightower. And he decided that he wanted to give his, ride the wave of Mikey Williams. This is from what I remember. I'm just kind of going off recollection. Decided he wanted to go on the wave of Mikey Williams, and he flew out to California to work out with Mikey Williams, or enroll in the school out there. What is it? The Cedro School, whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called out there. And then Mikey Williams booked and went over to the overtime league. And so now Bryce Griggs is kind of left out in the cold, trying to figure out what was his next move. He ended up getting to overtime. There was supposedly a $2 million deal on the table, which is any high school kid is hard to pass up. Anybody. But it just, from as far as I know, I didn't keep up with the overtime league like that. But I know they had some dudes in there. And him going from being the guy, the number one player in the state of Texas, to kind of being just one of those extra guys in that league, which is, kind of prudent of what is happening to him right now. As far as he's just kind of out in the wind. He's in between. Is he a pro player? Is he an overseas guy? Like, what's his next move? So that's kind of the basis of Bryce Griggs. But again, he was the best prospect in the 2023 class if he would have stayed in Texas.
Yeah, and you know what, man, and this is apropos of how the game is. The game is cold, man. The game is chivalrous, you know what I'm saying, in that capacity. And here's what I mean. One of my homies to this day, and I coached him at Prairie View, Grady Green. Grady was like the guy in middle school when he was, in 8th grade. And Grady didn't make it to the, NBA. He was 6'4". In middle school. He basically didn't grow. And listen, man, I'll call Grady right now on the phone because he know what it is. I keep it funky, with him. And this is how the AAU game, the high school game can go, man. Like, you can be, man, back then, it's actually the opposite. Back then, they did want me. They don't want you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is how grimy the game can be. So, man, I'm gonna bring another guy up now. My guy, Jack Morgan, man. He is a coach currently at
Fort Bend
Marshall. So I want to give y'all this perspective from guys who have sweat in the game, as it were. So, without further ado, let me bring my guy Jack up, man. Jack, what's up, man?
What up, Cliff? What's going down, my guy? How y'all doing? What up, fellas?
What up?
Hey, man, it's cold out here. Golly.
I ain't trying to hear it. It's cold up here.
Oh, yeah. Where you at? Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, man. So we kind of, I'm sure you've been listening. So we're talking about kind of the framework of what, Bryce has been going through. So, again, man, I know you're actively coaching, so you can talk the parameters that you feel comfortable talking to. So right now, we just
So go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. So right now we're just talking about what he was and what's just kind of matriculated to as far as what he is now. So if you want to talk about some of the was into the right now from a first-hand standpoint, we love to hear your perspective.
So Bryce is a stud. Listen, he can fill a cup up like no other. Hats off to that program and that coaching staff. Like, yo, he was the truth. He was a headache and a thorn in everybody's side. Um, I don't think it's just a Bryce issue, right? So and this is not, I don't think this is so much more of about Bryce as it is just in general. Um, from my perspective, I think a lot of kids were taken advantage of when that situation arose. And so I think what happened was you had a lot of those kids going to do that, and now you don't hear about them anymore, right? You're not the hot thing anymore, and you kind of just drifted away. And so it's just unfortunate. It's an unfortunate situation. A lot of those kids will be playing college ball right now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those kids could have been playing college ball and getting NIL deals. Being college students, possibly getting NIL deals, and being a student. But because they decided to go another route, and I don't blame the kids. Once again, we're talking about kids. You know what I mean? They're kids. I to some degree, I have to hold the system accountable as well. I don't know who's giving who advice or who thought this or who thought that. I understand every situation is different. I totally get that, but I guess I'm old. I guess never thought I'd say that, but you know what I mean? Like I believe if you can hoop. You know what I mean? I don't.
Well,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
So let me put it out there. Okay. So as we know, one of the byproducts of freedom of choice is freedom of failure. So you got the choice to succeed, you got the choice to not succeed. And shout out to Black TV, man. Shout out to my guy, man. Y'all subscribe to my boy. So in one vein of thought, one school of thought rather, I like the fact that guys can go and play alternative means and get paid. And I like the fact that you can go the traditional route. But as Will knows, as I know, you can go the traditional route and you can fall on your ass real tough.
Yeah.
You really can fail like in the worst way. So I wonder what exactly is the ultimate how can I put it? I wonder how bad is this decision not to go that route and how it is. So that's my whole point of this discussion. I want to funnel it all together.
I think it depends on how far up the ladder you are, depending on how far you fall down, right? So if you have a lot of options and you're high up there, and you don't get a certain school or you don't do something, you say, well, heck, I didn't get this school, I'll go to this school. Okay, cool. You're not really falling from grace. But I think for those particular cats, they gave up something that was priceless, which was college eligibility.
Yep.
Their ability to play college ball. If you kind of look at Mikey's situation, he didn't give up nothing. He got the bread, plus he still get to play ball. He got the best of both worlds. And I think that's what every player wants. But I think you bring up a good point, right? So you said, which route is the better route? I think when it comes to players choosing, personally speaking, if you don't make it hooping, at least I can get a degree. Right? At least I can get something for my troubles.
Yeah.
Well,
so
okay.
what?
So
go ahead.
Let me impart that upon that school of thought, because we know that all guys don't graduate that do that. So so that's kind of the stopgate argument. Like, okay, well, you get an education, but in the counterbalance that is, do you really though?
So here's my question: Did they choose not to get the degree, or did they, or for whatever, like? So what I'm saying is that the ability to get the degree is there. Now, if you choose not to act on it, that's on you. But the ability to get one and not on your dime is there. So
I guess that's just the conundrum, like Cliff was saying. Like you have, like there's consequences and rewards to every decision that you make. And so for guys like Mikey Williams, with the way things were shaping up and the way the NIL was getting ready to come and play, like that was an easy decision for him because he was a viral star.
Absolutely.
So his decision was totally different from what, i.e., Bryce Griggs is. Like nobody in the virally, right, through the world of the internet, the TikToks and all that, nobody really knew who Bryce Griggs is. But they knew who Mikey Williams was because he was breaking records as a freshman, and it was viral. So that decision for him wasn't that hard of a choice. Now for a guy like Bryce Griggs, yeah, people in Texas are gonna know about you, isn't that? But nationally, I don't think he fell into that same type of category as far as being a viral star. So I think his decision to go to a league like Overtime was more costly. He had more risk than reward.
For sure. So there was an interview where Mikey talked about, you know, if I never go to the NBA, I'm cool. I got bread. You know what I mean? And so he had that ability because he had that outside money from hooping. You know, some of those guys, like you said, didn't have that. They didn't have that outside money. And so where I guess my old school train of thought is, you know, I guess the way I kind of look at it is, you know, what is your end goal? What is that going to be? And if you really want to try to make it, you know, I think the collegiate route is, I mean, because if you think about it, the 1 year, like that 1 year that Bryce was there, and then if you compare it to, or not even Bryce, that 1 year for all those kids that came out that year compared to what happened the next year was a total flip. Was like a total flip of all the rules, a total flip of everything. And so, you know, I still believe in somewhat of the traditional way. I think there's opportunities for you on all these campuses, depending, you know, to do whatever you want to do. I just don't know if those kids got the best advice.
Well, I'm gonna say this, Jake, man. I literally just got off the FaceTime with my guy Talvin Hester, man. Talvin Hester is a coach at freaking Louisiana Tech, and he had one of my old teammates, Brian Eze, who I ain't seen Eze in forever.
Whoa! I know exactly who you're talking about.
Brian Eze, you know Brian, you from your side of the world.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you know I gotta see B. I ain't seen B for a long time, right? Okay. So me and him both members of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Shout out to the bros. So I understand that culture, and I understand that, you know, I lost my train of thought. Damn, what were we just talking about? What were you just saying, Jack? So you were talking about you hadn't seen Brian in a minute. You haven't seen him, but you did see him. You saying you did see him? You caught up with him or what? Yeah, before that,
traditional way, I guess he was.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So I talked to Talvin a lot about, because obviously he's a progenitor of the traditional way of playing, you know, basketball.
Yes.
But when I look at a cat like LeVar Ball, when I look at guys like Luka Doncic, when I look at guys like your boy, who's my man, Rudy
Gobert? No, not Rudy Gobert.
No, well, him too, but who's my man? But before Luka Doncic,
I think Serge Ibaka was playing pro before he was.
Him too. Giannis was as well. The point guard for Spain.
Rudy Fernandez.
Marco Rubio.
Ricky Rubio.
Ricky Rubio. My bad. Ricky Rubio. My bad. Ricky Rubio.
So Ricky Rubio. So you talking about the politician Marco Rubio?
Yeah. I know. My bad.
Yeah. No, so I understand. Well, let's throw LaMelo Ball in that spectrum.
Okay.
You know that you can go the non-conventional route and still get to the finish line, right? So, your boy Victor Wembanyama will be another one. Yeah. Believe that.
So can we say this? All right. So I think the guys that you're talking about are anomalies. And what I mean by an anomaly in this situation is that the only guy that we talking about as the Rubio guy doesn't fit into what I'm about to say. The rest of them all right. The rest of them will. You're talking about guys that are 6'8", Cliff. Like, they're huge. Like, they're physically talented, and they're physically gifted, right? So in my opinion, this is what I tell players in general. The reason I believe basketball is such a unique and difficult sport is because you have to be physically gifted and then skill set gifted. You're 6'8", 6'9", long arms, big hands. Now you can shoot three. Like, it's so difficult. And so when you're talking about guys 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", it's like, hey, there's a lot of you guys walking around here. But it's not a 6'9" Luka Doncic walking around here. They're rare. So those guys' choices are much different than a 6'3" guy.
Gives them a slight advantage.
Yeah,
It gives them a huge advantage. A huge advantage.
What you're saying is no different than how it is over here, though, stateside.
Yeah.
It's always the height, size matters. Pause. So,
right. Right. So when we're talking about making these decisions of whether or not, what do you want to do, whether you think you're going to go to the league or not, I'm like, yo, so look at you compared to your contemporaries. Look at you and compared to the guys that want to go, that are trying to go like you.
I agree with that. But
you know what I'm saying?
At the same time, we're talking 1%er conversation here. So it's
right.
1% no matter how you look at it.
So if you're not a 1%er, you should probably take the traditional route.
Well, but you're still in 1% land though. Even with that paradigm.
Even going to high major D1, you're still in that.
You're still in 1% land. Like, it doesn't matter.
True. Okay, cool.
The league is just
cool.
a different type of 1%, man.
Absolutely.
Man, again, it's sometimes, I want to get on these handlers, and I think somebody was talking about it.
Oh man, great. So hold on one second, Will, before you do that. What you're saying is, oh my God, you're taking the right little, not a left turn, but a nice little veer to what it is. And shout out to Forever Young Films, man.
What's up, Archie? That's my guy, Archie. Man. What up?
Salute, Archie. So, listen, when we talk about you coming into, God dog, I just lost it again. What you just say? You just
coming into the league being a 1%er, playing college ball.
Handlers.
So with the handlers, man, you can get
those guys.
Great advisement, or you can get horrible advisement.
Facts.
And I say that because when I made a video about Robert Dillingham, man, a year some change.
Who was an overtime guy?
Overtime guy that went over to Donda Academy, right? Left Jeff McGinnis School out there in North Carolina. His dad reached out to me, bro, via social media. I've had an hour-long conversation with this man, right? And it's because his handler, now I don't know what Robert is now. Does anybody know what Rob playing now?
He's with overtime. He was with overtime this past season.
So he left, man. It was a big thing. His dad called me, bro. So I say all that to say, the handlers, man, got a lot to do with these actions, and that's something that we do need to accentuate to Jack's point. So I do want to highlight that as we go forward with this conversation, because that's going to be more pervasive with these, new situations that are going to be very, very new and unique, against what we normally see. We're going the traditional route. So, Will, with that said, Will, go ahead.
I mean, it's nothing new, man, because all these 5-star kids, since AAU trainers really just kicked off like it has been, everybody, they always have these grown-ups, these grown men who attach themselves to these young men. And a lot of times some of these kids are just, I don't want to portray the missing black father situation, but it happens a lot of times, and these leeches in the AAU game attach themselves to these young men.
Talk to them.
And they will give them, they'll be in their ear about certain things in certain situations. Or you'll have some guys be like, man, well, this is my kid and this and that. He can't go there unless I get a college assistant job. Like this type of stuff, these type of conversations going on for the folks that's in the chat that don't know how the AAU game is dirty, man. And and then sometimes it could be your family members, man. We all seen what is it? He Got Game. He Got Game is the perfect movie to this AAU world right now. what's another one? Blue Chips. Like all this stuff is like people just looked at it as a movie. And as we got older, it's like, damn man,
that's reality.
It's really like that. Man.
Absolutely.
It's really like that, man. And so I think the NCAA has tried to tighten up on that a little bit. But these handlers, man, they're in the way. They're trying to make money off a 17, 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid who may not have that father figure in their life. And it's still happening, man. And it's what I know. I don't know about in other states. I'm sure it happened, but I know it happens in Texas. That's for damn sure. Jack knows for sure.
I mean,
he was on the AAU circuit for a little bit, so you've seen it.
I mean, the handlers in these crews are just out of control. Like it's not. It's literally like giving away government cheese and people just flocking to the feast, right? I think, and this is one thing for parents, and I hope some parents are listening or have some idea, because I don't have all the answers. I'm learning every day, right?
Yep.
These kids are kids. These are not retirement plans. So if your goal is to get a retirement plan out of this kid, I think that's the first mistake right there.
Well, hold on. So you saying it's not a good idea to name your kid the coldest to ever do it?
What was it? The coldest Crawford? The coldest Crawford?
Coldest to ever do it, Crawford. And I like the kid. I like the kid. Don't get twisted.
No, listen. Hey,
it's a bad idea to name
I think that. Hey, listen, I wouldn't do it, but hey, if it works for him, it works for him. I'm not gonna tell that man's mom or dad or whomever not to do that.
No, Jack. I'll do it for you. That's a horrible idea. Name your kid the coldest to ever do it, Crawford.
Hey, you need to throw that in the garbage.
Hey, listen. What's the fact that he has that leg prowess he has, and God bless you, brother. But if
he's playing ball somewhere.
It's a horrible name your kid. Go ahead.
It was at Nebraska.
Yeah, because he was at LSU, and then I don't know if they cut him or he changed. Something happened, but I don't want to say they cut him. I want to say he decommitted. That's what I want to say happened. But yeah, you're right. These handlers are just, listen, you can't even have conversations with kids sometimes. Like you can't. Like they'll say, hey, look, you can't talk to him. I mean, like just standing next to him, not getting his phone number, not interviewing him. You can't talk to him. You can't. It's not only bad for basketball in general in AAU, but I think it's even worse for the kid, right? Because now this kid feels like he lives in a bubble and can't nobody say nothing to him. And I can't speak for every coach. I'm not even going to try to. But it's nothing worse than trying to work with a kid where they feel like you can't say nothing to them. Where they feel like, hey, you can't say nothing to them. They're temperamental. And I think a classic example of that is Ben Simmons.
Okay.
Absolutely ridiculous.
So why Ben Simmons' situation so messed up in your view?
In my opinion, because okay, let's not go down that road. You can't say nothing to him. There's like he feels like there is nothing wrong with him. Like there's nothing. He feels like there's nothing you can say or do. You can't criticize him. Everybody doesn't want to be criticized. It's tough. It's like walking on eggshells around some of these guys.
I agree. I just want you to say it implicitly. So yeah, absolutely. I don't disagree with you at all. I like Ben Simmons, but what you're saying is not incorrect. Oh, and shout out to my guy Zen Master, man. Zen, we're gonna do that LeBron post. I'll be with you in the next few days.
What was it? 6'10", 10. What? No, he had 0 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 assists. I'm looking at my screen like, what is going on with this dude?
Simmons, man.
I'm good with that, actually, man. I'm good with 0 point. If you do what is required, you play on a team with 2 scorers, the best probably ever.
No. So
Ben Simmons, you can give me at least four points off offense.
Listen,
that's at least that's
the stat line. The stat line I gave you.
I'm good with
I understand it.
The stat line I gave you was from when KD was hurt. It was just him and Kyrie. Like, I just can't imagine somebody that man, I'm old, so just let me just put me in a rocking chair somewhere. It makes no sense to me.
You preach to the choir, homie. I'm older than you, so
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I guess I'm crazy because that makes no sense to me. Listen, 10 points is just 2 layups a quarter. 1 layup a quarter is 8 points, Cliff. Layup.
Okay, Jack, hold on, Jack, hold on. So now, what I try not to do is be too statistically driven, because when you try to put, production numbers, you lose nuance. And I say that because you look at guys like Russell Westbrook.
No, let's not do this. Let's not do this.
I can do this all day, and then on top of that, you don't want to be so locked in with numbers. You want to be locked in with what does the team dynamic need. If the team needs this, are you providing that? Or are you just having, just numbers that just don't add to anything? So I'm cool with it.
So
I understand that with Ben Simmons, but I'm kind of with Jack on this. I understand the nuance of things, but Ben Simmons is skilled enough on the defensive end. On the defensive end where he can get a steal in the passing lane and go give me a layup. He's good.
But I've seen him get a steal and with a freaking wide open layup, still give it up to somebody on a wide open layup. So, and they score. So I just understand his nature. His nature is very nonchalant. So but I'm not going to pick the next greatest LeBron James either.
He's just so troubling to me. Like you just don't know what he's going to do in certain situations. And what you're talking about, Cliff, is what they call empty calories. Like, to some degree, you can't get caught up in the stats.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, I don't even want to talk about. Like, he's putting up stats of guys that are like in the 9th rotation, but like 9th rotation numbers. And 10 rebounds is probably more than those guys are getting. But I just can't imagine at some points throughout the game, he's the biggest guy on the floor, and he can run like a gazelle, and you can't get me a layup, dog.
All right, man. Let's get off Ben, man. Let's get back to this.
All right, so
we're done with Ben. We're done. That's my fault. I'll take the hit later.
Well, no, I'll land the plane on Ben. I understand the frustration because he, in my opinion, he leaves a lot of meat on the bone. I truly I get that. But what I'm saying is, if the team dynamic, you only need a certain amount of production. I can oversee the situation and appreciate what you bring to the team dynamic. But conversely, I'm not going to say that Ben Simmons is the best thing since sliced bread. Like, nah, absolutely not. So I understand both schools of thought in that. So
space. Let me ask you this real quick, and we're off the Ben. I just have a question. So if we're saying that, would you be offended? Not you, but would someone be offended if they say, you know what, I'm only going to offer you this much after the end of this year, and this is just what it's going to be? Like, do we expect him to get top tier money?
Who?
Contractually?
My Ben Simmons?
You talking about Ben?
Yeah.
Oh no. So I think that the market always self-corrects. So I understand that there's some paying.
What is that? Shout out to Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah, shout out to a lot of guys. Well, Schroeder actually messed up.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said, hey, you better hit that market. Yeah, that's why I said, shout out to him. You should have struck while it was hot, Playboy.
Yeah. He messed the $88 million.
84. He bet on the
So did New Orleans Norrell. New Orleans Norrell did the same thing and then tried to sue.
Absolutely.
He was god awful though.
No, he was not. No, he was not.
I want to get to Forever Young Archie's film because he knows more than probably I do, and I'm just getting into the highlight film game. Archie's been doing this for a long time. I want you to put it in the comments, man. How often do you run into dudes that you can't go talk to? Because I've been to some games, and I'm just like, man, I need to get a picture of this kid. Put my little logo on it, and I see people walking up to him. I'm like, damn, man, I look such and such. I've been to some games out here where dudes like, man, you can't even approach him. So I'm pretty sure he's dealt with that. I want to know how often he deals with that, with those handlers. because he was talking about the handlers are the new trend. I think I saw that somewhere.
Yeah, no, well, actually, handlers have been around forever, and they just kind of work surreptitiously through,
and I think handlers only used to work with the best of the best.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Everybody
now everybody got a handler and everybody got a mixtape.
Hey, check it. Everybody got a blessed to get an offer from whatever with the little.
It says AGTG. All glory to God. It took me a while to figure that out.
No doubt.
The Twitter world is the funniest thing there is when it comes to high school basketball recruits and their offers. And he was just talking about those fake offers, those non-existent offers. Oh man,
you see a lot of that though. Like you see a lot of that. Like you see, I've seen more recently in these last couple of years of just kids that have just put up random people that offer them, and just only recently, I guess colleges have been responding like, "Nah, we didn't offer you." Like, you know what I'm saying?
So there's schools who lie about the offer. The new hype.
That's funny.
I mean, shit. I'm checking my phone. I may have got an offer. Like I don't know, but maybe
it's weird. The game is so crazy now that you have people who you can basically hire to handle your Twitter account.
Oh, absolutely.
I know somebody who, I'm not gonna mention their names. I know somebody who's basically like charging kids and parents ridiculous amount of money to basically put their kid on the radar of college coaches and things like that. I've seen it.
Okay.
Yeah. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh man.
So, and this was a couple years ago. But I've seen it, and it's plenty of people who do that. Like, man, I have a scouting this and that. I have this amount of coaches, this and that. You pay me such and such amount of money, and I can get you. But it don't work like that, man.
So let me ask y'all this.
Hold on, Jack.
My bad.
Is he he's living in our neighborhood, Will? For a little stint.
Oh wow.
You talking about?
I don't know. We're gonna have to talk about it.
I'm gonna ask an obvious question, but I don't want to do that on.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Well, no, let's say it. Did he go to high school with us?
Yeah.
All right, okay. All right, I know you're talking about. All right, so go ahead. Lord have mercy, man. Tough out here. All right, Jack, go ahead, bro.
So my question to you is, since we're talking about paying people to be on Twitter and paying for different subjects. Now, I don't know if you guys already covered this just in general, but my next question is, if we're going to talk about people paying people for their Twitter, are we going to talk about parents paying these programs to rank their kids?
That programs paying to rank their kids?
Boy, you trying to take the lid off, man.
Hey, man. Nah.
I got to give you something, Cliff. Hey, Cliff reached out to let's see what's cooking out here.
Hey, I'm gonna give you the solo view, man. Go ahead and cook, my boy.
No. I'm just asking the question. I'm throwing it out there. You know, if people are paying for, if people are paying people to operate people's Twitters, you know, are parents paying for kids to be ranked on lists?
Well, I'll jump it off. Do I know
high school? Oh, I'm sorry. High school kids, not. We ain't talking about college kids. We're talking about high school kids.
I'll jump it off. if I'm just surveying it from what I know as a former middle school coach, former high school player, former Division I player, pro player, whatever, I would say it's not outside the realm, of possibility for that to happen. Because listen, man, these third-party dudes, you have a constituency that you have to appeal to. You got people who follow what you do, and you don't do it for the love. I know everybody likes to, have this facade like, oh yeah, I do it for the love. No, you do it for money. So I would be definitely remiss to say that there's some people who don't, slide a person up or down because of some of the their pockets getting laced up. Because We see it with our politicians. We see it with any and everything in this world.
Yeah.
So, do I think that that's not the case with the AAU game? I'm sorry, with the prep school game. Well, not prep school, but the undergrad game. Of course, in my mind, I don't see why it wouldn't be, because that's how people. I'm not saying all guys do it, but I'm saying that there's definitely room for that to be a thing.
I'll give you a prime example where it happens at. I'll give you a prime example, which is about to happen in Houston in a couple of weeks. The McDonald's High School All-American game.
Oh, dun, dun, dun.
It happens. It happens for sure in that, man. It's been going on. You have, like, you look at the McDonald's All-American game, and you look at certain kids like, damn, he played for Nike, he played for Nike. Or you might have one guy, he played for Adidas and stuff like that. You'll see the different type of the labels or what do you say, the programs that they belong to, companies that they belong to, who's getting in some of these all-star games. Very, very prevalent, man. And again, there might be somebody out here on this stream right now who might not know this stuff, but this game is dirty, man. It's dirty all the way to the top. All the way to the top. And that's for high school, that's the McDonald's All-American game. Well, which I would love to cover one day. But,
my retort is, what's not dirty? Like, there's always going to be, I mean, because we saw examples with Cam Newton going and his dad, putting those offers out there like, hey, this is the going rate for your kid. Reggie Bush, right? We seen what's my man Maurice Claret. We know this to be so, and it's like the worst. And I'll leave his name out of this, but one of the cat I played with overseas, I'll just say his first name, Sean. He talked about going to Maryland, and getting a $400 handshake, right? Mm-hmm. So we know this to be so. It's just funny that when you kind of put the pen to paper, when you put the rubber to the road, everybody's like, oh, well, I don't know nothing about that. Oh, well, like that's the goofy part of the game. So go ahead, Jack.
So I agree with you 100%, right? So of course I brought it up for a reason. Not one in particular, but when we're talking about colleges and college kids, and to some degree, they're over 18. They're grown. Mm-hmm. I think where we're talking about like super dirty, or where it gets real, just like you just shake your head, is at that high school level with kids. And I think that's the most disturbing part about it for me is, like I said, like I've some of these kids you got ranked way over here, and some of these kids are ranked way down here. And then you hear rumors about this parent or this group of kids, and it becomes real. The waters get real murky. And like you said, with the McDonald's All-American, and I'm still, I just don't understand that foolishness. But I just, the game has just gotten real salty. You know what I'm saying? And I think that takes away from just great basketball. And that's the disappointing part for me. And I'm sure, other people that just love the game in general. I've seen kids take off, because when I say take off, don't want to play tonight because somebody not coming, or somebody canceled, or this guy's not going to be here. My thigh hurt, my calf muscle. What? Like, it happens more than we think it does. And for the parents that don't do it, in my belief, stay the path of righteousness and get it out the mud. Just grind. For the ones that do, y'all should be ashamed on y'allself. Shame the devil.
They should. They should feel ashamed, but they're not. And we gotta understand, man. There's good people in this world, and there's evil people in the world. For sure. And I'm just, let me go back to this. The McDonald's All-American game is in Houston, right? I believe.
Yes.
And we don't have a Houston kid in the McDonald's All-American game. Correct?
That's crazy.
That's extremely disappointing.
Come on, McDonald's, man. Like, I know, God, you gotta have at least a hometown
kid, bro. Throw one in there, bro.
You gotta have at least one hometown kid in the McDonald's in a city like Houston, like in a which is becoming a basketball. Yeah, which is becoming a basketball city. Like it's becoming a basketball city.
I think we have enough talent. I think if you take the top 5 kids from the city, I think one of them should have made the team. I don't understand how you come to the city, like you guys said, and don't put nobody on there from the city. But what I will say is because they didn't do that, that just proves your case even more that it's just not. It's not what it used to be. It's not. You got the Jordan jump off joint. You guys, I heard Slam has one now. It's a couple of other ones. Yeah, like they've kind of like made their way to kind of being more where I want to go watch.
Well, what's funny? 2 things. One was when they had the Jordan City, DC Capital Classic, which is the Jordan one.
Jordan Classic.
It always felt dirty to me. I didn't like that, and it became like a linchpin to know if a kid was going to declare for the draft because you can only do 2 post high school tournaments. So basically, if a kid did the All-American tournament and the Jordan Capital Classic, he's going to declare because he can't go back to high school. So that to me, it always felt a little dirty. But I remember, and Will can attest to this, when we were seniors in high school, man, we played in the Nike National Tournament, and it was in our home gym at the campus center, and it was in 2001, December 2001, and we had Carmelo Anthony in that tournament. We had Kendrick Perkins, we had
Son Adams,
we had Indy Edie. Yeah, so we had about a good 4 or 5 NBA players in that tournament. We had, from a school standpoint, we had De La Salle in that tournament and so on and so forth. But they had a Texas division, and they had 10 Texas teams, and it was us, it was Nimitz, who which was Cartier Martin, who ended up going to the NBA. So they did it right, and they did it right by the national standpoint, so it made sense. So to your point, it's funny how from a regional standpoint, you don't bring in a kid that's gonna sell the tournament. I mean, not to say that the McDonald's All-American needs that per se, but to me, that potentially could be a funny little misstep to not do that.
Yeah,
because we all know Bronny. Listen, man, Bronny's a good kid. Bronny. Could I put him over Mikey Williams?
Cliff, don't do this. Let's not do this today. Come on now.
They could have put in Wesley Yates from Beaumont United, Jalen Lowe from Old School, JoJo Tugler, maybe not as nationally, like that. Those 2 guys, Jalen and Wesley, your best possibilities is having a McDonald's All-American guy. They could have threw one of them in there.
I even if you choose not to select them, you've got to give them some notoriety and some type of love. They just act like they don't even exist.
That's crazy.
And to Cliff said, it's a funny misstep. I believe it could be the beginning of stepping off on a ledge. Because we're talking about in a large city, 3rd or 4th largest city in America, and people are already talking about, I ain't going, I'm not going. And so, I think this could be the beginning of a trend of players deciding whether or not they want to play in the McDonald's All-American anymore, whether they want to go play in other tournaments.
That's a hell of a caveat you stepping on. So what if the McDonald's All-American game becomes obsolete? With all this?
That's where it's headed. That's where it's headed. That's where it's headed. Like let's not. If that's not where it was headed, it's going to be headed that way now. At this point, the pivot has began. Like we're seeing the turn, right? Like if it already isn't steering in that direction, because they come to a major city and they did not put in one of the kids from the city, I think, that's the beginning of boop to the right. And so I think, even, all it takes is one or two kids to go, nah, I don't want to play in that.
Yeah.
And then, they go to Slam, because I think Slam has one, and truth be told.
Adidas has one, I think, too. Jordan, who?
All His Life got one.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about the major one, but Ball His Life has one. I think, and I don't even, Ball His Life, me and Ball His Life, we you go back and forth. But I think Ball His Life has an opportunity, or at least Slam has an opportunity to take it up another notch. I think McDonald's has gotten too comfortable with being on top of the hill. Like they say, the wolf at the top of the hill is never as hungry as the wolf climbing the hill.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
So, I think that was a huge misstep. I don't know if they're going to rectify the situation. I don't even know how they can rectify the situation, but I think, something, whatever. We'll see how it plays itself out, but I don't think it's a great look.
I understand why they couldn't, though he was a double negative. You could not put Bronny in the All-American game.
Yeah, it's missed opportunities.
Like, I'm looking at the list right now. Bronny is the number 8 point guard in the nation by ESPN, and everybody else that's on this roster is top 5.
I will not say
top 5 in their
anything.
position.
I'm not going to say anything about Bronny. I'm just going to shake my head profusely, and then when you move on to another subject, we're good.
Bronny, I hope he succeeds, because the hate that he gets is just because who his father is. Like,
I disagree.
I think you're right.
I don't think the hate that he gets is because of who his pops is. I think that people are looking at him and comparing him to his contemporaries, and they're like, "Whoa!" If that's the case, I don't know. I don't even know, and I could be wrong. I don't know who's doing the stats. I just someone pointed this out to me not too long ago, so don't get upset with me. I don't even think he scored 1,000 points, and he's been playing basketball since freshman year.
Yeah, he been on varsity.
Yeah, he had to sit. He was sitting though.
Yeah, he came off the bench.
So not even 1,000 points scoring, 1,000 rebounds, or even 1,000 assists. Just one, maybe just one. One category.
Bronny's best thing was AAU. Like that. That was the best
Bronny's
thing.
gonna be a kid that you can just play because he's smart. He's a guy who can
IQ,
he gonna matriculate to wherever you got going. I saw that his freshman year. When I watched Sierra Canyon play Duncanville in Dallas right before I moved to LA.
Okay.
I saw it, not special. I tell you what I saw about D-Wade kid. D-Wade kid's terrible. And I know when I met a
Zaire? Is it Zaire?
Yeah, he's terrible.
Zaire.
I don't know which one. I don't know which one. They all have these crazy names.
I was about to
No, I'm not going there. That's not what I'm saying. I don't know which.
I'm not going there either.
No. I'm saying I don't know which. I don't know. I don't know.
Zaire. The other one's Zaire.
Okay, cool.
But Zaire is terrible. And I said this my second YouTube video I put out in life. It did 3K views when I had like no subscribers. I had like -5 subscribers, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, D-Wade, because he got mad that his kid wasn't playing in the state championship game for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, are they keeping that same energy for LeVar Ball, pulling his kid out of a thing, whatever. And the video did numbers back when I wasn't monetized and all that shit.
Right.
But my point is, I saw back then that Zaire, no. And some people like, oh, you hate on the kid. Like, no, it's not hate. I have no envy for him.
I'm gonna challenge you guys to this.
Go ahead.
Take a look at Bronny's AAU this summer. Okay. And then if we have a conversation, let's have another conversation about this. There are a couple of guys that came to play for him that were on his team that were better than him. There were a couple of guys, even some of the teams that when those guys didn't play for them, they lost games. And I don't remember what level, I don't remember where his AAU team was ranked, but it wasn't that crazy high either. it just kind of seemed to me like he's kind of like just a glue guy, and I like glue guys. Like I get it. Like he's a
spot on, Jack. Spot on.
But is that but is that McDonald's All-American worthy?
Absolutely not. That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Like I said, they could not put him in there, man.
Yeah,
he's the number 8. He's the number 8 point guard. He's the number 8. Yeah, number 8 point guard in the nation. So there's 7 point guards better than him. You know,
only 7.
That's crazy.
Well, you want to suit up?
Listen, man, sports is mostly ingrained with politics.
I will take an in-shape wheel over that guy.
I will say this: I came up in the wrong damn era. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah. You'd have been.
We came up in the wrong damn era. We were just getting to the point where Texas AAU was getting to a certain status, and shout out to basically and I give him a lot of credit. And I give it 2 guys, a coach and a player, John Urich, and the guy who won 2 state championships at Willie Ridge, TJ Ford. TJ Ford basically put Texas basketball on the map as far as just being a state that produce basketball players. And you've seen it since then, how it's slowly is becoming like Texas is loaded. Dallas is going to be loaded again next year as far as guys that's ranked in the nation. Like it's getting there. So I give those 2 guys credit. John Urich, you know, he's still an a-hole. He's still a clown especially on the Twitter space. But that group and that Adidas, what was it? Adidas Superstars?
Yeah, it was like Adidas Superstar. I can't remember what the name of it was. Yeah,
Adidas Superstar. That group basically put Texas basketball, AU basketball on the map.
If I want to throw 2 more names out there, I think I would throw TJ for sure. What up, Mo City? Where it's at? I would also throw Carlos Hurt. And Ansu Cisse.
Ansu Cisse.
Cisse, yeah. Cisse coaching AAU.
Yeah. I just recently spoke to him, like maybe a couple days ago. I think those 3 guys, but of course TJ for sure. But I think they were instrumental in because I want to say, was it Carlos was playing in the ABCD camp, and they didn't have that dude showed up with half a hair braided, going berserk.
Nobody had an
They
answer.
were like, "Yo, who is this dude?"
Nobody had an answer for him.
Nobody. No, there was no answer for that dude.
Nobody had an answer for Carlos Hurt.
Nobody.
That boy's
Nobody.
He's Rob Limo. Straight up. Yeah, and well, I mean, that's the thing, man. With the AAU circuit, again, there's a lot of politics, there's a lot of posturing, there's a lot of people who know people, and like Will was saying, man, if we knew we were born in this generation, things would be different. Because me and you both played Division I sports, and me and you didn't really we went on like major circuits like that.
No.
And to juxtapose me and you just, congruently, you was doing Baylor camp and stuff like that. I ain't have none of that.
I went to Baylor camp and had a hell of a camp.
And you went off, right?
I had a hell of a camp at Baylor. Like the coaches at Baylor was like, yo, and that's when that crazy and the kid got killed in the dorm room. But they had Chris Bosh was at that camp. They had a kid out of DeSoto named Dez Dillingham, he was tough. But I had a hell of a Baylor camp.
So Dez, what's his last name?
I want to say Dillingham.
Yeah, Dez went to JUCO with me at Mountain View. Guard, right?
Yeah, guard. Yeah.
Boy, Dez would fuck anybody up in that gym. And he was gonna play for us at Mountain View, but then he didn't want his eligibility messed with, so he didn't play. But yeah, Dez, I think he ended up playing at SMU after wherever the first place he went. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And I played in the same gym with Ellis Kidd Jr. He played on that team on Baylor with Patrick Dennehy.
Yeah.
So Ellis
Sergio
Kidd Jr.
McClain was there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Dez Willingham is his name. Dez Willingham.
Dez Willingham, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, so yeah, he's supposed to play at Mountain View with me in Dallas. Yeah, I remember him. Short, stocky guy.
Yeah.
Point guard. Yeah. Dez was a problem. Yeah, I remember him.
Issue.
Vividly. Lived experience.
Issue.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. And man, we can tie this back into the Fab Five days as far as like, the handlers and stuff. But this situation with Bryce Griggs definitely, I think, more internal issues than external, because I believe it was more of a issue with the head coach at Hightower. If I remember correctly, it was an issue with that. But as the title of your video is, he got $2 million out of it. Now, does he still have that $2 million? I don't know. I didn't keep up with him after he left Texas. I really didn't.
Yeah.
But for him to fall off from grace like that is. Whew.
Yeah, but I mean, my whole thing is, bro, did he blow the bag in some capacity? Yeah. But at the same vein, I'm not mad at no kid. If you can get $2 million off rip and have that to blow, I got no issues with that at all.
Yeah.
I like the fact that the kid has that. And as we kind of walk through this last hour about, as a matter of fact, y'all hit the like button, man. So we gave y'all some exclusive inside AAU hoop talk that you ain't getting nowhere else. I promise you're not getting nowhere else. So if it ain't worth a like,
yeah,
can we at least get that? Because I think these talking things are important, because right now this may not be a hit as far as getting a lot of views, but down the line it will. I promise you, down the line this will be relevant. So we gotta talk about things like this in moment with real perspective of lived experience, because now you get real scope about how this was at the time. So you have a very a full flush in moment evaluation.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say that, because I just think it's important, man. Because I told you, I started off not knowing the whole Bryce Griggs story, and then I talked to you for a minute. I talked to Jack for a minute. I'm like, oh, okay. There's a lot of layers to this situation.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk to the people. Let the people understand the layers to it. So, and you know what's funny, man? When you do this for a long enough time, you understand, like, the handlers, the family, the people, they eventually get to your content. So I want y'all to know that this is not to any point to demean the kid, but we just want to talk about what the situation is. That's it. Because at the end of the day, things that seem so rosy on the front end, when they don't pan out on the back end, it's like, okay, so how do we parse that out? And that's, to me, what this whole conversation is about.
Yeah, and bottom line to me is you have, if we're going to make business decision in the AAU world, and maybe me and you need to go in there and create it. There has to be a business model or a business class being taught to these young men and letting them know, like, these are the leeches out here in the world. Not for saying, like, strictly pointing something out, but giving them some signs of this person might not be a good fit for you, or even teaching the families about this type of stuff. So something has to be done, because it's too many. Not saying it's going to stop it from happening, but there's too many kids falling off by the wayside because of a decision an adult has made for them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and inversely, there's too many kids who don't know when the iron is hot to strike, and you may sit back on the opportunity and not understand, like, yo, this is time to move on something. And that's just the game of life. The game of life is, there's no guarantees in anything. So so what behoove you is to learn, what's the best time to move on this, to move on that. Like we said, man, we both former Division I athletes. We got no red carpet rolled out for us. So, in the same vein of having, empathy for the kids, at the same time, man, we know what we was up against. Like, so we listen, bro, you got to get out the mud, homie.
Yeah.
This
is why it's so hard for me to tell kids, like, and parents, like, Coach, do you think my child is a D1 player? And I'm just like, I want to be like, hell no, because I seen what a D1.
That's what I was about to
say. I seen what a D1 player looks like because I eventually became one, and even the dudes that I played with at Stephen F. Austin, small D1 for folks who don't know, small, very very small D1, which has blown up a little bit within the last decade or so.
Yeah.
But some of the dudes that I played with, we had a JUCO All-American, Penny Hardaway's nephew. His name was Keith. He was JUCO All-American. We had a 3A or 4A state player of the year from Louisiana. Shoot the hell out the ball. We had some other guys, and I'm just like, if I was built more like a basketball guy, I wouldn't have went through the stuff that I went through. But I'm saying all that to say is like, when I got on the court, I'm like, nah, they really not that much better than me. They just had the build, the long arms, the height, this and that, and they fit the mold of a basketball player.
Yeah.
But eventually, as my dad always says, cream always rises to the top. So eventually, I started going from being a walk-on to a scholarship player to first game I ever played, I only played about 8 minutes to about the last 10 games of the season. I was starting. So eventually, so I'm rewinding that back to when players ask me, is my child a D1 player? I want to be like, no, but I know it's possible because of the grind, because of what I went through. Now, a lot of these kids, they got the same work ethic that I had and the mentality that we had. So like, nah, man, yeah, we can play at this level. Like, our high school coach was an a-hole. Like, he didn't believe in us, like anything. But we're like, no, we've really been through all this, dog. He ended up with 5 Division I players for folks who ain't never heard the story.
I didn't play towards the end of the season. I didn't play. I made the furthest. I didn't play. So just to show you the misstep on his part.
The misstep. The dude was never right after that. Never right. Could never find a group of kids who had, like, we wanted to practice on Saturdays. We wanted
we was cool with it. We was like, we want to practice.
In the gym, like, cool. And he couldn't wait to get rid of us. And we was his first varsity team, best team he ever had. So it's a balance in there in the world for a kid to figure out if he's D1 or not. A lot of parents want to be his D1 or bust, but it's not always the case, man. Some of the best players I ever played against in my lifetime, and I played against some pros. I played against Chris Bosh before. I played against Darren Williams before. Like, some of the best players I ever played, they were in JUCO. Mm-hmm. Them Negroes just didn't have the grades, or they just weren't disciplined enough before us being a talent on the basketball court. The best dudes I ever played in my life is from junior college. Like, no bullshit.
Bro, I played against Torian Fournette, who was the heir up there.
Yeah.
AKA Mr. 720. I played him twice at Richland College when I was at Mountain View College. The dude literally did 720, which means 2 spins in the air and jump. He joined the N1 team. I played him twice. So, yeah, I put him up there with the best. Now, could he hoop like that? But was his athleticism the best I've seen? Oh, absolutely. That dude was crazy. I remember we played at Richland. I had like 5 dunks that game. He had 1. It shut the gym down. My little 5 dunks didn't do nothing. Just 1 shut it down. It is what it is. So for those things, I'll be capping these streams. That's me in college.
Yeah. You know what we need to do? We need to do a stream
overseas playing ball. That's me.
We need to do a stream about hoopers.
That's me.
Hoopers versus basketball players.
Yeah.
And a lot of folks don't understand it. There's a difference in being somebody that can hoop and somebody that can play basketball. Total difference. I think that's something we might need to jump in on.
Yeah, I mean, because listen, man, the game is cold. The game is cold. And that's why you see a lot of cats like us. We put that line of delineation down real stringently because we know what we put into the game. It sucks. It sucks being a basketball player. You put so much time and effort into this shit. It sucks. And you want to be like regular people. You want to go and hang out and get on the females and do all that. Like, but you can't. You can't. And not only that, there's a hierarchy of players on the team. So amongst that fold, you got to be better than them. You go beat them out. it's a crazy game. So, and it's a dynamic that a lot of people don't just, you know, they'll never get it.
Yeah.
But me and you know it. It's rough, bro.
like learning your role on the team, man. I went from being the second option on my high school team to basically playing a whole game in college and not taking one shot. But that wasn't my job. And for me to play, my job was not to shoot the damn basketball. But it's just like this is why a lot of freshmen struggle in college, even the 5-star freshmen. If they're not starting immediately, it plays on your psyche.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a tough thing to go from being the guy or being one of the main guys to being a guy that's just on the bench.
Being a complimentary piece.
Just absolutely. Being a complimentary. I used to kill me. Like people, I'd be walking around campus and people like, man, well, why are you not shooting this and that? I'm like, bro, first of all, it's not my job. Second of all, I am tired. I'm tired of running through screens. I'm tired of getting back screened. I'm tired of folks not calling it. I'm tired of going back and forth. Again, I wasn't built like a basketball player, so I was gassed within the first 2 minutes. I was a sub, waiting on the media timeout. Just couldn't wait. Couldn't wait. But we had, again, the guy from Louisiana, he was playing 40 minutes all the time. And I'm just like, and I would be at practice the next day, like, damn, man, they ain't got to practice and that. And all this other stuff. Then when I played my first game against Sam Houston, I played 38 minutes. I understood why they wasn't practicing the next day.
Oh, yeah.
I was gassed, completely gassed. So to be a college athlete, man, for anybody who want to be out there, or you want to be an overtime athlete, whatever the case may be, you gotta be it, dog. You gotta be the best of the best, dog. There's no way around it, dog. It's not a simple task to play at the collegiate level, especially the D1 level. Not easy. You go in there with that mindset, man, this and that, and you said it before. How dudes came into workout at PV, they just being around the school, didn't last 5 minutes to the workout. Now, that's different breed. It's a different ball game.
Yeah. Bro, the game is cold, man.
I almost died my first day in college practice. I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to die.
Because we weren't ready for that. I'm going to show a video real quick.
YouTube TV has no hidden fees and includes unlimited DVR space. YouTube TV, try it free.
All right. So this is this is my first game I played. My first big. Well, no, that's not true. Oregon State we played first, but then we played University of Louisville. There was a number 3 team I think in the nation at the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they had a guy, Terrence Williams, who went to the NBA, was super. He had LeBron athleticism, just a few inches shorter. But I remember I played 30 some odd minutes this game, and I was dog tired. Oh my God, I was dog tired. And I remember I looked at my coach like, "Yo, take me out." He's like, "Nah, you ain't coming out." I remember that shit so vividly, man. So I'm gonna play just like a minute of this game. But this is what Division I basketball looks like, man. Especially playing low major, playing against a high major. So in this jump ball, I'm gonna jump against David Padgett. David Padgett, he succeeded your boy. What's his name? Oh, buddy, the Italian cat.
Rick Pitino.
Rick Pitino.
Yeah.
So David Padgett was the successor for Rick Pitino when he got, fired for the shit he was doing. So I got a jump ball against, I'm 6'7". This dude's 7'1". So you about to see what happens. And I'll play a minute of this game, but this is like what Division I sports is. And it's tough. It's tough. It's hard. And you work out so hard just for this result. And we lost this game by like 20. But which is pretty good by conventional standards.
Yeah.
This same year, we lost to the University of Texas by 70. So this is when we had a high morale. But anyway, I'm going to play a minute of this game to show you, like, I'm coming from a guy, I was a 1-year varsity letterman. I didn't get no Division I offers. I walked on it as Stephen F. Austin. I played 2 years JUCO, and then I ended up getting a scholarship at Prairie View. this was like the end result, but it just shows the culmination of what we're talking about, of what it takes to be at this level, man. You got to put a lot in to be at this level. But without further ado.
All right, here we go. Paget. First time in the league.
So again, 6'7" versus 7'1". Well, I'm maybe 6'6".
Uniform in a regular season game.
Won a jump ball.
Prairie View wins the tap.
Rick said they would opening zone, and they do a 2-3 zone. He expects.
So you see, Louisville's number 5 team in the nation.
Because they haven't had much time to work man to man on that team defense. They will play some zone.
Get the ball inside.
We came out with the first bucket, and I get the feel.
Basket is good there. Really looking start there for your man, Anthony Ohio, is in our featured matchup.
He's a good player. Just what the coach told us he would do. A lot of energy, good skills.
All right, so as you see me on the top right of the screen, I'm guarding this asshole right here. And you're going to see me get a steal.
Terrence Williams with the basketball. Hard to believe he just.
All right, so you see I'm weak side, so I'm seeing that he has nowhere to go. So I know he's going to pass that bitch.
Just turned 18 in November.
Right there. Easy steal.
Hey, he turns it over there. Coming the other way is Clifford Franks.
You heard the dude, Clifford Franks. That's me. I ain't got no handle, so I'm pretty good.
Scott looking inside. Ohio lost the handle. Magic with the steal and hit the Cardinals.
Right, so I'll leave it there. So I don't want to go too much to that. But my point is, man, to play at that level, it's so much required. It's so much to do, and it's so much onus on you to step up and be a part of the action. So as some people say, oh, well, all you do is you want to jump ball and you got to steal. I'm like, so okay, let's say I lost a jump ball. I don't think coach took me out for that. I missed that obvious steal. You know what? I look up somebody at the check-in table like,
what's up?
and that's what college basketball is. So I don't know what tangent we was on, but I want to show that because I just remember how nervous I was that game. And I remember I played 30-some. I had 8 points, 8 rebounds, something like that. It just was that was probably the most mentally taxing game I played in my life. Because we had NBA scouts, we knew that ahead of time. It was 40 grand people in the what they call it, Freedom Hall out there in Louisville. It just was crazy, man.
That's a basketball school like that.
That's a basketball school.
That's different, man. Different basketball school, man.
Big facts. So as we land the plane on the show, I know we're an hour 20 minutes in, and I didn't even go this long. So again, we're talking about with Bryce Griggs, man, and we talk about our own war stories and things of that nature. So what's the overarching thing you see with this situation and how that plays forward, or just your overall introspective insight on just whatever basketball related?
He's definitely not the first, and he won't be the last. Kid to kind of fall off and we call it falling off, but again, if he got $2 million, that's more than I might see in my lifetime. The other thing is with the NIL situation, leagues like overtime might be over. Like it's still gonna have a place, but if a kid can still go and get his college eligibility and make basically sign multiple types of NIL deals, it's going to put a damper in what they're trying to accomplish, man. From what I've been told and what I've heard, the overtime league is not ran very well. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure, but this is what I've overheard in the basketball spaces that I've been in the Houston part of these things. But it might put a damper on their spirits and what they're trying to get accomplished. It's a great idea which they got from LeVar Ball. That's a whole nother stream. But kids are going to be kids, and it's going to be hard for them to decipher who's a good person for them and who's not a a good person, man. Like Rob Dillingham was in this league, and you already talked about that and the situation that he went through. We didn't even go through the full details of that crazy mix of things in the Dunda Academy and all this other stuff that happened out there. But we can even, push it to prep schools. This happened with prep school kids. There's a kid that was out here at Lake Highlands who is now at some school in Missouri, big man by the name of BJ Davis. And
hold on one second. So, just so you know, I'm not capped. This is Rob Dillingham's father, Donald Dillingham, right here in my phone. So you know I'm not capped. Uh-oh. I want to show you shit. But, like, come on, bro. Like, I'm not on here like making stories up for YouTube content.
Yeah. So,
that's what it is. So go ahead, man. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, no, you good. My overall perspective is just like he's not going to be he wasn't the first, and he's not going to be the last. Hopefully, we hear less and less of this type of stuff for a kid who had aspirations of being a NBA player. Now his route to the league might be a little differently. Who knows? Maybe 2-3 years down the line, he can get in there. But again, like people always say, with each class, you get older and older. So he's 3-4 years out from being overtime, whatever. The next wave of kids are coming through. So now you're not only competing with the dudes that are already in the NBA, the dudes that are around your age. Now you're competing with guys who are coming behind you, and the NBA is now going to get ready to go back to high school players being able to get drafted, I believe. So his might have an unconventional route, and I'm rooting for the kid. I'm always going to root for Houston kids, even though he left. I'm always going to root for Houston kids. But his heel has a lot more obstacles. Has a lot more obstacles than somebody who is 6'5", 6'6". We can find. What's crazy is the NBA likes those kind of guys now. The 6'2.5", 6'4", the tweeners, the Darius Garlands of the world, who is phenomenal. The Colin Sexton, Damian Lillard. Just the list goes on and on. But they still would much rather have guys who are 6'6", 6'7", 6'8". So that's my final synopsis on this situation.
Hey, and I appreciate that insight, man, because I know you have boots on the ground big time with high school sports and things of that nature. So we're not just spitballing, just speculating. And that's why I wanted to have you and Jack on here to speak about what you know, because with a situation like this, there's a lot of nuance involved. And I don't want us to just be clickbait and talking. We want to talk about what's actually going on. And in the midst of my first stream I was going to put out, I was going to go off the riff of what I saw. But then when I talked to y'all, I was like, whoa. Okay, there's a lot more levels to this. Let me take a step back and then let the experts, speak on what they know. And I learned as we're speaking on the topic. So I appreciate you and Jack big time for stepping in and doing that.
Yeah. Anytime, man. I'm going to be doing that.
Absolutely, man. So, man, for the listening audience, man, thank y'all so much for being a part of the stream. We're about to be an hour and 30 minutes in, and we're about to pull this bad boy to a close. But again, man, so if you like what's going on, man, y'all go subscribe to my guide Between the Game Sports. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe here, because my whole point of this channel is to give y'all some real information, not just to give y'all rudimentary stuff that everybody says and everybody does. I eat clickbait. I really want to just show you stuff I learned from the game. I learned from playing. I learned from in the trenches. That's why I put that stream up just a second ago about me playing against the number 5 team in the nation. I want to show you that I've done that. I've been in that room where it's like my heart about to beat out my chest because I'm playing against David Padgett, who just transferred from University of Kansas to Louisville, and he was the biggest thing talked about in that room. So I want to show you I've done that. So I'm not just on the stream firing up a StreamYard and just, talking out of my ass, as it were. So, but yeah, man. So thank y'all so much, guys. At any rate, man, go Prairie View, go SWAC, and everybody in between, go Lumberjacks, Action Jacks. Yeah. And thank you, Will, for being a part of the stream with me, bro.
Yeah, anytime, man. Shit, we can rock out whenever.
Already, man. So until next time we're out, man, and thank y'all so much for being a part of this. Y'all hit the like button on the way out. Y'all go subscribe to my guy In Between the Game Sports, and we'll talk to you soon. Soon. Peace, y'all.